Hi there, you are watching God and Money. I listened, or rather read, a quote by Mahatma Gandhi, and I was just like, wow, it blew my mind. And he says, to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. And I was just like, wow, that is deep. And sometimes we think about giving and we think, we complicate it. Like the other day I was having a chat with my hubby and we're thinking, no, how do we help our children understand that there's people who don't, or who are not as privileged as they are, and there are people who struggle, and how do we, which home do we start visiting? What do we kind of start doing? And then I realized, is that how to teach giving? Is it that now we start all going to give to certain homes and those are the guys who now give? It doesn't have to be that way. And I want to share a story to help to demystify this thing called giving. And I watched this video and it completely changed my life. And it's a video of a lady, she's actually Kenyan. Her name is Catherine. And Catherine lives in the US and she is a baker. She works in a bakery and bakes bread and cakes all day. And so this one day, she was driving, I don't know where she was driving to, and she had a serious accident and broke her hip in two places and had to get metal rods in her hip. She still, till today, walks with quite a serious limp because of that accident. And the accident basically left her car almost totaled. And in fact, the repairs that would be needed to fix her car were so high, it was cheaper to buy another car. So she was just like, wow, okay, after all these medical bills and all the different bills she's had to pay because of the accident, she was not able to fix her car. So she was just like, you know what, I'll just start saving slowly. So she went back to commuting, and where she lived to where she worked was quite a distance. So she really did need a car. And the walking was challenging because now her leg wasn't what it used to be. Anyway, so fast forward, she started to save and actually accumulated quite a bit of money. She had saved $5,000 and she'll still continue to save so she could buy herself a good car, or at least a car that she can use. And then I think she was at church and she met a widow who was going through such a challenging situation. She was so moved by this widow's challenges that, do you know, she went and withdrew her $5,000 and gave her. And she went on her business. And she says in the video how, she asked herself so many questions. Did I do the right thing? I've been praying for God to make it possible for me to have a car. And then now I've saved all this money, $5,000, which is 500,000 Kenya shillings. And instead of continuing to save so at least I have a car, I've given it all away. But she was like, you know what? I did it with a clean heart and I was moved by this woman. So anyway, her boss, the manager of the bakery she was at, asked her, by the way, how's the car fund going? And she said, it's going okay, it's going okay. And then she asked a colleague, or I think it was a colleague who overheard her asking, and she told her, by the way, do you know that Catherine gave away the $5,000? And she was like, what? She did what? To who? A widow? Oh my gosh, she was so moved. She went and saw her husband, who was now the main manager in the shop. And they just sat down and said, oh gosh, she told him, I'd like to contribute to her car fund so that at least we push her a bit quickly. And her husband looked at her, his wife, and he said to her, you know what? I want to buy her a car. And she was like, yeah, that's such a good idea. Let's talk to Bob, this guy who was now the bakery chain owner. And so they talked to him and he was so moved by what they said. He said, by the way, I'm chipping in. So they go to the car dealers, and at the car dealers, in fact, before they went, they called and they told the car dealer, listen, we want to get a car. This is the kind of a car we're thinking. And the car dealer said, do you want a new one or a used one? And this guy thought, why is he asking me that question? And he just said, you know what? I want a new car. And he was like, wow, that's amazing. So they went, got her a car. Do you know, they bought the car and drove it to her place of work and called her outside, come see the car that you have. She was for falling down, wondering, as in, you guys did what? As in, God has cars. He buys people cars. She was so emotional. And the video is just so touching, the way that she had she wasn't giving to be able to get back. She had no motives or anything that she felt, okay, I'll give and I know God is going to give me back. She gave with a pure heart, knowing that I want to give to help this woman because she's in such a bad place. I think I can manage where I am and I'll be fine. And so that video just moved me so much, because I was just like, this woman gave with a willing heart. And just going back to our initial quote with Mahatma Gandhi, to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others, research actually does show that by giving, by the way, you find a sense of purpose, accomplishment, you feel empowered, you feel like, yeah, you know, I think I am contributing towards something. It gives you psych, it gives you meaning to life. And so I would highly recommend, even just for your emotional and physical wellness, imagine give in your neighborhood, give in your church, in your schools, in wherever it is that you're serving, because it's through giving that you'll find healing. I want to encourage you as you go to the next week, if you're not too sure, okay, in my circumstance, how do I give? Pray, ask God, and He will show you, and He will give you the opportunity to be able to be a blessing to somebody else. God bless you, and stay well.